Wimbledon Championship Tennis for the Sega Genesis. This game has it all. What's this? A basic no-frills menu? Check. Hard hits and soft lobs that you gotta die for? Double check. Hot babes and miniskirts to choose from? You better believe it, baby. 4-player action on the Sega Team Player? Avi. Getting hit in the nuts with a spike shot? You betcha. Coming soon to a store near you, this is hands down one of the greatest sports video games ever. Whoa. Slow down, nostalgia. Let's start over. Now, it's been a while since I played this game, but this game has been in my collection since I was a kid. 3 decades later, is this game any good? Or is this going to be another, basic 16-bit sports game that's been forgotten about? Like this thing? Well, let's start from the beginning. Now, to be honest, growing up, I never gave a shit about tennis, but my god, did I love tennis video games, with my favorite being Mario Tennis on the N64. This game is just classic. Tennis is the true example of a sport where you either love it or you never watched it once in your entire life except for clips on SportsCenter. But you always knew who the main players were since the sport was so big worldwide. Now, the first tennis game I ever played was Activision's Tennis on the Atari 2600. Yeah, that Activision, the same company that's making Call of Duty and took over Blizzard. Believe it or not, this was actually a solid sports game for its time and is still playable to this day. I mean, look, do I recommend playing it now? Of course not. It's an Atari 2600 game and it's a sports game, but it was a great product for its time. In my opinion, tennis was one of those sports that just translated well into a video game. After all, the first video game ever made was Pong, right? The second tennis game I ever owned was this bad boy, Wimbledon Championship Tennis for the Sega Genesis. I have fond memories of playing this game as a kid, but it's been a while since I really sat down and played it. Now, would I recommend playing it now? Let's give it a shot. Pun intended. Can we start with the cover, please? This already looks awesome, right? I mean, Jesus Christ, what moron decided to put this as the cover? Are you marketing this game to kids or 30-year-old bougie assholes wearing Lacoste shirts? Imagine being 10 years old and seeing this game on a shelf? Let's see here. Contra Hardcore, Mutant League Hockey, ooh, Wimbledon Championship Tennis. Hey mom, can I get this? Now look, I know what you're thinking. But didn't you own this game as a kid? Yeah. But look, my parents bought this for me for like $5 at Nobody Beats the Wiz in the discount bin, alright? Relax, dude. Now, right off the bat, or racket I should say, you can tell that this game is very playable. Like the first time you got to third base, it will take a few minutes to figure out the controls, but you'll learn quick. A is for a high and slow shot, B is for a normal topspin shot, which is still slow as hell in my opinion, and C is for a hard, fast serve or return. Now, you get to choose from 24 tennis players. Yes, 24. 12 men and 12 hot babes who have no issues using 2 hands to grip that handle. A cool feature about this game is that every tennis player available has 10 different skill levels ranging from 0 to the worst obviously, and 9 being the best. Now, I gotta admit, the stats between players aren't that noticeable during gameplay. It's not like Mario Tennis 64 where you can really spot the difference between the players. The gameplay between players seems kinda minimal in my opinion. Footwork and power seem to be the biggest factors in this. But even on the very low and very high difficulty, the AI seems very random at times, where some games I would sweep the computer and then get my ass kicked the next one. It just didn't make sense after a while. With that in mind, I will say that this game can be frustrating at times. I highly recommend turning on the bound pointer, I guess it's called. Not sure if they meant bounce pointer, but anyways, it's a huge help to see where the ball is going to land. Also, picking the semi-auto is just an auto assist from the AI, helping you hit the ball a little bit better. Manual is a lot tougher and it's made for the seasoned pro. Now, the thing that really sucks ass about this game is that these are all made-up tennis players. Now, I know it's common for earlier sports games, but at the same time, it's kind of weird considering that they got the license for the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club, which is located in Wimbledon District in London. Like, you have the license, why not use the players? If anyone knows why the players aren't in here, please let me know, because I'm clueless. But this is the venue where the Wimbledon Championship is held. I don't know. For me, one of the cooler things about playing older sports games is playing as these classic sports legends. Like in NHL 94, it's so cool to play as Wayne Gretzky, Patrick Waugh, Mario Lemieux, etc. It gives it that lasting charm that can never be duplicated by newer games. Now, of course, you have your run-of-the-mill exhibition mode, which is pretty much like having missionary with your socks on. The classic pop in the game and let's do a quickie. There you can choose from singles, doubles, and choose the number of sets that you want to play. I will say playing doubles was always the most fun. Having four guys on the screen, the game was chaotic and it was awesome. The new game mode is simply the Wimbledon Championship Tournament, which can be saved through a password save system. Each time you complete a championship, the game will then move up to a higher difficulty bracket and you can do it all over again. It's like banging the same girl over and over and over and over again until finally you're married and you won yourself the Wimbledon. Oh, and I should mention that the game has a multiplayer option, which is, of course, the game's best feature, as it supports up to 4 players. Yeah, imagine playing this game with 4 players. I'm not gonna lie, I did it once and it was actually a pretty good time. But playing against a buddy one-on-one is always the way to go with this game. Overall, this game is mid as fuck, just slightly above average. But at the same time, I had a lot of fun with this game back in the day. I even had fun with it while recording the gameplay footage. Even though this game is widely considered just slightly above average, this is easily one of the best tennis games on the Sega Genesis and is usually listed in the top 3. Now look, I haven't played every single tennis game on the Sega Genesis, but the general consensus is that usually this and its sequel, ATP Tour Tennis, are considered the best on the console. Back when this was released in 1993, this was an awesome game to own. The problem now is that the game is a true product of its time. It served its purpose as a great tennis simulation game for the console it was released on, kind of like Madden and NHL games of today. Like take Madden 2003 on the PlayStation 1 for example. Sure, it's a good game, but does anyone really play this game anymore? Unfortunately, Wimbledon Championship Tennis has been forgotten about, and rightfully so, because there's just too many better tennis games out there now on different consoles. This game doesn't stand out like the other 16-bit sports classics, like NBA Jam, Mutant League Hockey, NHL 94, Ken Griffey Jr. Presents Major League Baseball, you get the idea. Like, why play this now when I can play my favorite tennis game ever? Regardless, this game will always hold a special place in my heart. If you still play on original hardware, I definitely recommend picking this game up. Yes, that's right, I recommend buying this. This thing is dirt cheap, $4 for a loose copy and $10 for a complete in box with the manual. You can't go wrong with it. But not only is it cheap, but it's still a really fun simulation tennis game, and it's one of the best on the Sega Genesis. Grab a buddy, spend $4, and you'll have a good time with this. Like I said before, nothing about this game really stands out, and it probably won't make your top 3 of all time, but it will always be a grand slam in my book.